So here we are at the Lure Restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to have a conversation with Paul Hemel, the general manager of the restaurant here. And we're outside in their patio, their outdoor dining area, and enjoying the coverage of an Equinox cover over the top of it. So we want to talk with Paul a little bit about what this means to him and the company, and how we came about finding Equinox or needing it. So first of all, Paul, if you could kind of share with us the need that you had in the beginning before you started searching for it.
Yeah. Well, the restaurant that was here before was an institution in Atlanta. It had been around for 23 years. And one of the great things about this place, as far as people having a memory of it, was the patio. So we wanted to honor the tradition and the memory of that restaurant and kind of take the next step in the evolution of the dining scene in Atlanta. And so we wanted to make sure that we put our own spin on it, but that people really could feel like it was a patio that they could come to and enjoy. Really one of the best reasons to live in Atlanta is the weather. It's such a substantial space that, as far as the square footage of the restaurant, that we really had to take into consideration when the weather's not nice. And so we were looking for a system that would allow us the flexibility to take advantage of the weather when it's great, but still have be able to be very consistent and reliable when the weather wasn't great.
Yeah, that's great. So how'd you find or hear about Equinox and find us?
Yeah, so there was a gentleman that we have used before to help us build other awnings at other restaurants, and he was actually the one who showed Steve, the owner of the company, your product, and so that's how you all landed on our doorstep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So challenges. What, from an install standpoint and the space and the building, was there some challenges in the beginning?
For sure, yeah. I think that anytime you're trying to use for us a new technology, you were always trying to figure out what's going to. For us, it was really about, we want to make sure that when it's open, it feels like it's open. When it's closed, and it's, for lack of a better term, seaworthy. And so we don't do anything easy in our restaurant group. We always we're very detail oriented, and so we wanted to make sure that that the space felt like an outside space, and so the trees are here and all the greenery and whatnot, and all the lattice work, and so we were really trying to figure out a system that would work, but still maintain a patio feel, and so and be able to heat it and cool it year round, and all the other logistical challenges that we ran into really kind of made it difficult to get it right. The biggest challenge that we faced here really was, no one can predict Mother Nature, and so we didn't have enough in terms of, I'm not a scientist, I'm a restaurant guy, but when rain falls and how it falls, like, we didn't have enough square footage for the gutters, and so that led to some issues early on in trying to figure out how to get the gutters to go around all the lead pipes for the gas and all the electrical. So that did lead to some challenges for sure.
Yeah. So I can see where the trees would be a challenge in itself to work around that. Yeah. As you can see, it found a solution for that as well. So ultimately, when you get this outdoor dining space, what's it mean to the Lure, and what's the positives of having Equinox here?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a big. This space seats 60 people, so it's a third of the total seating capacity of the restaurant. And there's nothing more expensive in a restaurant than an empty table. So I have to be able to count on this more than 6 months out the year. And you might have a nice day, you fill it up, and then it rains, and then I don't have the luxury of saying, "Come on in, I'll sit you inside," like you would in a residential application. So we had to make sure that like, if I give my word to someone that I'm going to be able to take care of you and your family for whatever the occasion is, Saturday night, 7 o'clock, I need to make sure that I can do that. Yeah. And so it was really important that I was able to do that. And so it means everything to me in terms of the restaurant, because it's a beautiful space, but it's such a big part of the revenue generating center for the restaurant that it had to work. And so. Plus, one of the other great things about the space is it's very different from the other parts of the restaurant. It's got its own unique spin and feel, which I love. Mm-hmm. And so it allows me the ability to say, oh, if you want a quiet space, you can sit here. Oh, if you want to do some people watching, take advantage of the great day, I've got just a spot for you. So it really does allow me a lot of flexibility in that regard.
When you talk about flexibility, I also look around the structure and see the add-ons with the radiant heat and the fans, so that ultimately every climate, whether it be rain, sunshine, high humidity, all those things, you're still in business right here.
For sure, yeah. There are very few days out of the year, the extremes, and whether it's 99 degrees and super humid, or whether it's get those days when it's 2 degrees in Atlanta, that it's not necessarily like suitable for seating, but that really has more to do with the how the rest of the patio is constructed and designed. It's al fresco. It is outdoors, for sure. But we've really tried to take into consideration all of the comfort that someone can enjoy here, and really try to think through that as best we can.
So with your experience now, and we have some of our top dealers from the Equinox dealer network here, what could you share with them from your experience, any advice, or even from restaurants that want to consider putting an Equinox cover up?
I think the one thing that I would strongly recommend is you've got to have reliable contractors and subs. I think it's so important to make sure that the people that you're going to be working with and having them do the work, that they can do the work. It's not an easy system to install from what I can see, because of it's advanced. And again, I'm a restaurant manager, so to me, it's all advanced. But especially when it came time to, the big challenge was we had to have a couple people on a couple of different occasions come out and reinstall the gutters and rework the gutter systems, work through all those kind of 90-degree angles and get around this and get around that. So I think that, again, this is kind of, I think that from the planning perspective, less is more. And so I think that I wish that we would have done a better job of integrating some of the stuff before we installed the patio, to get around some of the, like I said, like the gas lines and things of that nature. But I think that there are places that you can save, and there are places that I think it's money well spent. So I think having very reliable people to do the work is key. Because even if it's the best product out on the market, if you're having people install it incorrectly, or you're trying to save it, cut a corner here or there, the end result isn't going to be what you want it to be.
So ultimately, even with some of the challenges from the early stages to where we are today with this, the return is there for you.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, initially when we were going through the learning curve of this, I wouldn't take reservations for the patio. I just couldn't. But now I book it regularly, and it's available if folks want to go online. Like, I have absolutely no reservation about taking their reservation for the patio. For sure.
That's a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah.
So appreciate that. And I thought I would open it up. We've got a group here that could ask questions that they may have from your experience as well. If anybody has, Dan.
Would you say that the system that you purchased, the roof system, has paid for itself at this point in time?
Absolutely, for sure.
And you started taking reservations with confidence. How long ago?
It was after we did the gutter remodel, and we made some modifications to some of the little plastic clips and whatnot. So it's probably been about a year.
So paid for itself.
It's beautiful.
For sure.
It's a great investment. Any other questions, thoughts?
How long did it take you to make the decision to buy it?
That was really above my pay grade. I know that we looked at a number of different systems, and so it was probably a total of, from the time we found out about the product to the time we actually decided to go with it, was probably about 6 months.
What were the factors that made you choose this system over the traditional stuff that most restaurants use?
We are very detail oriented. And so part of it was just going back and weighing the pros and cons. Part of it was also really, this is something unique, and it's a conversation piece, and it also really allows you to be outside without feeling like you're outside when you don't want to be outside, and it doesn't inhibit the aesthetic of the restaurant. We looked at other kind of retractable systems, but you know, this restaurant has such great curb appeal, we didn't want to detract from that. So it was really something that was, you know, functional, aesthetically pleasing, but not the focal point of the restaurant. So
Would you say that this type of a product actually brings in additional customers for the fact of seeing it?
I have had several people stop and ask me about the product in particular and ask for a business card, say, hey, we want to do this at our house, what can you tell me about it? So it definitely is something that is, and anytime that I open, like we'll be out here and I'll have to adjust it for, you know, as the sun kind of continues to go throughout the sky. People you know, they strike up a conversation. I'll go over there and talk to them like, yeah, oh, those things really move, and so yeah.
That's great, because from a commercial application, you can see how that ties into a residential opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the other great things about it too is that we are talking about such a large surface area. Is like you can customize certain sections of the patio for, you know, if the sun's over here, you don't necessarily want it to feel like you're like the patio, the louvers have to be closed over there, and then you can adjust them, and the people over here aren't squinting at each other. So it really allows you a lot of flexibility in that regard to do different sections of the restaurant. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, it's
I
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you all so
thank
much.
You.
Yes,
yeah.
Good chatting with you all. If you have any questions, I'll be around all night, and just let me know. And appreciate y'all coming in and enjoy yourselves.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome.
Great.
Yep. All right. My pleasure. Yeah.